There's someone here with us today that I want to bring up the mic right now. I've been doing politics for 15 years, and he's one of the most charismatic, exciting speakers I've ever seen. You know, Ed Martin. Ed Martin, come on up here. Ed Martin has put his name on his ballot to run against our Attorney General, and Ed, tell us what you're fighting for.
Well, that's a pressure. Thank you, Patrick. It's great to be here. I just want to say a couple of things to you. First of all, many of you, hey, Bill, better, holy cow. Talk about guys that have been making a difference for a long time. Bill, great to see you. And so Jane Cunningham, I don't know if she's left, but let me just say, if you haven't fought against Jane Cunningham, consider yourself very, very blessed and lucky, because she is one of the toughest, smartest, and most savvy legislators we have in Missouri, and if she's still here, I think she's gone, but we should all thank her for what she's done and who she is. So listen, right now in Washington, D.C., as you know, we are seeing historic times. For 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we have the United States Supreme Court considering what is likely, I think, to go down in history as one of the most egregious intrusions on our liberty and on the American way that we've ever known. Now, some of us forget. You may forget. Your time passes by and you forget how it was passed. Remember, it was passed. Scott Brown won an election for United States Senate, and America had spoken. You might have been at a phone bank calling into Massachusetts saying, please don't let this happen to us. We don't want so-called Obamacare. Nancy Pelosi was out saying, don't worry. Vote for it. We'll find out what's in it later, but it'll be good for you. Don't worry, you can keep your health care insurance, the president said. His people said it'll cost less, it'll save money, it will famously bend the cost curve. All of those things turned out to be not true. And the Senate and the Congress forced through a bill called Obamacare that every day we find out is more flawed and more detrimental to our state and to our sovereignty and to who we are as an American people. And across the way, by the way, there are thousands gathering to talk about religious liberty. They're not talking about a church's teaching on sexuality. They're not talking about someone's preference as a 30-year-old to have the ability to get free health care, preventive services. They're talking about something that's fundamental to the American way of life, and that is religious liberty. In Washington, D.C., there are men and women gathered, and they will judge this law, Obamacare. These thousands of pages. And they will give us an indication of what they believe the law is. Here in Missouri, we know that we the people gave some of our sovereignty through our states to the federal government. But we never meant for them to have all this. We never meant for them to do this to us. And I stand running for Attorney General because we have an Attorney General now who is not only Obama's lawyer, but is someone who has announced publicly he's running for governor and has refused to stand up to fight Obamacare's intrusion on our religious liberty, to fight Obamacare's intrusion into rationing, which is coming next, and who has filed a brief that can only be described as embarrassing for the state of Missouri, a brief that says, like John Kerry, I'm for it, but I sort of have to be against it. I really want to be against it, but I have to be for it. And it's an embarrassment. So here's what I'll promise you. If all of you will band together and make sure that the public, your neighbors, your friends, understand what's happening, I promise you we will continue to educate people to what our principles are and recover what makes America great. And come next January, whether it's President Obama or a Republican president, we the people will never again allow them to do what they've done to us. And we'll never stop fighting back. We can't. We can't. 7 weeks ago now, my wife gave birth to our next child. Helen is now 7 weeks old. We are actively in search of babysitters. We'll take a list. There's our list in the back there. But someone came up to me after our baby was born. I was at an event, and they said, how can you do this with all those kids, 4 children under 7? And I didn't really think, and I said, how can we not do this? How can we not do this? There has never been, not just, this is an important election, and I think Bill had better, if you haven't heard Bill do a history of some of the changes in our country and in our world, it's phenomenal. He can either do it in about 5 minutes or 55 minutes or 4.5 hours, but it's really great. But if the fact is this is an important election, but it's not just an important election because we're replacing a president, a senator, and all. This is an important election because there is a choice now. The choice is as stark as anything America has ever seen since a far-off power was imposing upon a ragtag band of people taxes and rules and laws. And the choice is this. Will you choose liberty, opportunity, a constitution, founding values that include God? Or will you choose people, a party, that is oppressing, corrupting, and taking away the American life, the American way of life? This is a fight about a bright future and a setting sun in America. And I ask you through AFP and other groups and candidates, find a way to help. Between now and November, we have to get behind the side who will bring opportunity and values and the American way of life into the future and beat back what is happening. So thanks very much. I appreciate being here. Thank you.